The unexpected tiebreaker happens. Mythos versus Sandy, two members who were not here for the start of this battle at all. And it is a Shadow Paladin mirror match. This is strange. Mythos is semi-restricted from the ruling that we had in the beginning saying no, two people of a team can use the same clan. And unfortunately, Alexis used Kagero, which means Mythos can't, even though that's his main clan right now. Or more to say, that's the clan he wants to use most right now. Mythos returns one unit to double mulligan. And Sandy is starting us off. This is going to be Revengers versus Witches. This is a strange... I don't remember how this goes. I think Revengers actually do well, because they can retire the zeros for their skills anyway. So they don't have a reason to care. Mythos is starting off with a Dark Bond Trumpeter. And Sandy's just going to no-pass it. Deer Day gets written and no triggers come up in the drive check. Dark Bond Trumpeter appears already. And it is going to call a grade 0. But what grade 0 will it be? Our grade 0 of choice is Claudus. So at any time, Mythos has the ability to counterblast one and bring out a Blaster Dark Revenger from the deck. Sandy no guards, and a Blaster Dark Revenger comes to the hand. Dark Bond Trumpeter doesn't get a chance to attack because the trigger didn't happen. And here comes Fianna. There are already 2 grade 0s on the field. So if she had another Fianna, she could retire it to draw 2. He's taking the Vanguard attack. And here we go. He rides the Ambitious Spirit Revenger Cormac. His Blaster Dark Revenger is in a 15k column, not good. But it also just hit for... But his Vanguard just hit for 2 critical. That's very good. I would say now he really has no reason to not give the critical to Vanguard. And 21,000 at the Vanguard, and it's blocked. So Mythos technically has advantage at this point. But Sandy does have Legion, which will allow her to turn Cormac and Blaster Dark Revenger into zeros. Those are the 2 I would foresee her going for above all else. And that's what's happening. So out of the top 10, I already see a lot of zeros. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that Mythos himself can decide what zeros get called. So he chooses a critical trigger and a draw trigger. I guess he wants to keep the other draw trigger. And now Sandy retires a Fianna to draw 2. You only need 2 grade 0s on the field for that to happen. I don't think she realized that Claudus and Judge Bao both count as grade 0s that work with that skill. Which of C equals Fennel gets called out, so she uses that probably to search out more witches. The fact that he 10k guards the rear means he's probably gonna no guard the vanguard. And a critical trigger happens. So that's 2 critical. It's gonna put him at 4 damage. And it's 21k from this Dare Day column. And now she can call 2 stand triggers, get 2 soul charges and 2 unflips. And Mythos guards with 2 10ks. I mean, I can only guess that's for his Legion, which he should be doing now. So, what I would imagine is going to happen now is that he's going to bring this out, his Legion. Then he might counterblast 1, put Claudius into the soul and call a Blaster Dark. Or he might just keep that 10k column to attack a rear. 11k to the Vanguard. So I'm guessing he's going to use this as a means to retire all of the grade 0s. All of the grade 0s. 22 at the Vanguard. And Sandy has to decide whether or not she wants to guard, because the second one is going to be boosted, not this one. So she's 2 passing. Keep in mind, trigger effects will still apply to Phantom Blaster Abyss at the end of this, because he's restanding, unlike Sing Saver Dragon, who actually becomes a new unit. And Sandy decides to quintet wall. She's not taking any chances. A perfect guard came up in that. I think what she's afraid of is Mythos counterblasting 1, putting Judge Bow into the soul and calling 2 to gain more pluses on it, which is something that absolutely could have happened. It was 25k shield by itself, which would have been 36, 1 pass, but she's going to drop the perfect shield, which means she's only going to have 1 card in hand at the end of this. So Twin Drive check. A quintet wall appears. So now Mythos has access to that in the next turn. And the only way Sandy can get use out of the Counterblast 2 is if she, for some reason, were to decide to change Judge Bow into another grade 0 and to change Trumpeter into a grade 0. Which absolutely could happen, mind you. Mythos no guards the Vanguard and a critical trigger appears. But only 1. And Mythos has the guard for this. If he has the ability to call another Phantom Blaster Abyss to ride one, and he doesn't. So he's just going to make the best columns he can and attack. Starting with 15. Oh no, he's going to start with the Vanguard. I would have actually started with 15 K. Oh wait, no. He could be right. He could be right to do what he's doing. Call to Masquerade. If that had been another critical, he could have ended it there. But the best he can do is push her to 5. Because that other unit is a trigger. So now Sandy's going to counterblast 2 and turn those units into grade 0s again. Oh, and 2 heals at the top. Mythos was going to 6 heal. But that has been completely taken away from him from the fact that he has to shuffle those around now. But also keep in mind, Mythos does have a quintet wall. And Sandy's doing everything she can to end it this turn. Cormac defends. The quintet wall most likely is going to come out right here, right now. And it does. 21, 31. So that's a 2 pass by itself. A critical appears. Decision time. Do you give it to the Vanguard and hope you get a second trigger? And she is. So she's going to all Vanguard. Okay, you gave the critical to the rear guard. So if Mythos decides to not block and try to bank, if Mythos was deciding to try to bank on a 10k on a 6th heal, that has 2 critical now. But that doesn't work. And now Mythos is doing the same thing Sandy did last turn, just going in with everything he has. It's very possible that Sandy lost her chance to win this game. Because both of those can hit the Vanguard. She has no intercepts. Twin drive check. Sandy's not guarding. And no heal. Good game. That was a good match. That was close. Down to the wire. DS wins the tiebreaker, which means DS wins the team battle. Very good game, AE. Absolute Empire, you did well. You were very worthy opponents. Good job, guys. Everyone involved.